Good evening and welcome. Welcome to Divine Healing Valley Spirituality and Healing Meet. And we are here on our Wednesday session. And the topic for today is anybody who remembers, who has seen the post, who would like to share? What is the post? What is the topic today?
Nitush, will you know? I've been waiting for it. I will not.
Collective
Yes.
consciousness.
Collective consciousness. Very good, Govinji. So we are all here to discuss on this topic of collective consciousness. Yes. And when we hear this word collective consciousness, बहुत बार सुना, बहुत लोगों से सुना, लेकिन इसकी सही अंडरस्टैंडिंग अगर होगी तो हमारे लाइफ में इम्पैक्ट होगा, because then we will be able to do something to transform our life. Otherwise it will remain a concept, and concepts don't transform life, because it is a wisdom which transforms the life. So let us translate this concept of collective consciousness and make it a reality in our life, so that we can have some transformation available for us in our present life situation. That is what is important. Yes. Okay. So let us start the discussion with the basic understanding of collective consciousness. So कौन बताना चाहेंगे आपकी understanding क्या है collective consciousness? So let's have some people share. Anybody who wants to share, what is your understanding of this topic? And then we slowly will get into the depth of this topic. Leslie, that is perfectly fine. So video will be off as you're driving. Great, that's fine. Take care and participate whenever and however you can. Yep. And Money Vasagam. Okay, Money Vasagam ji, welcome. अगर आप पहली बार आ रहे हैं तो if you're coming here for the first time, you can introduce yourself and you can share whenever you feel like. Yes, welcome Apurva ji. Anybody who has any understanding of collective consciousness, आपकी understanding क्या है? अगर share करना चाहें, please go ahead. It's a very common term actually. We have been using that very often, right? So whatever is your understanding, you can say that. Okay, I'll give you the lead line. Okay, human being, as we are existing on this planet Earth, we are not living like an island. We are connected, correct? We are connected to the whole humanity, you can say, or to the whole universe. So we are never individually existing here. So our presence is impacting others, and others are impacting our presence, right? तो हमारी लाइफ से लोगों को इम्पैक्ट होता है और लोगों की लाइफ से हमारी लाइफ को इम्पैक्ट होता है. ये हमारी प्रेजेंट रियलिटी है या नहीं है? ये है ना? So that is what is the starting point of collective consciousness. So what we can do to raise our consciousness and in turn raise the collective consciousness, and it is an inside out approach. Okay, so let us not talk of 800 crore population on the planet Earth. So it will not be an outside in approach, it will be an inside out approach. So the first collective consciousness that you will experience is in your family, right, where you're living, then possibly in your society, then maybe in your district or your city, then the state, and then you can keep on expanding. So it is like an energy ball is expanding from where you are sitting. It is expanding and encompassing the whole universe. Can you visualize that? So you are never alone and you are never individual. Your energy is impacting the whole universe, and the whole universe is impacting you and your life. That is I think that is a good starting point to understand what is collective consciousness. Yes. So let's have now some people share. What is your understanding? What is opening up? Anything you want to know in this particular topic? Actually, I was having a discussion with one of my friends, and he said, ये बहुत बार सुना है टॉपिक, लेकिन ज़्यादा समझ में आता नहीं है. तो मैंने कहा, is it? Then let me pick that up as a topic, and let me, give some clarity on this topic so that people can actually connect with this, and it is no longer a concept but a reality in our life, right? So let's have some people share. कोई जो भी आपके एक्सपीरियंस है, जो भी आपकी रियलिटी है, बुकिश नॉलेज ना हो तो ज़्यादा अच्छा है. Speak from your life and let's see. So there must be some point of time when your consciousness was, when you possibly you were sleepwalking in your life. था ये बहुत लोगों को था, मेरा था. 30 साल पहले 30 years before, 35 years before, if I see my life, I was sleepwalking in my life. I was not bothered about what is consciousness. Collective consciousness की तो बात ही छोड़ दो. And I was interested more in I, me, myself. मेरी लाइफ, मेरा घर, मेरी फैमिली, मेरी जॉब, मेरा बैंक बैलेंस, मेरी प्रॉपर्टी. So it was all I, me, myself. So if consciousness is at that level, obviously you are having the life situations of that particular level. Correct? तो बहुत लोगों का ये कनेक्शन रहा होगा at some point of time. Then there is a slight raising of consciousness, and then you say, hey, it is not about I, me, myself, it is something else. It is also about my neighborhood. It is also about the society I am living in, of my friends, of my relatives. तो कहीं ना कहीं आपका जो परसेप्शन है वो ब्रॉडन हो जाता है, आपका पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू जो है वो थोड़ा सा एनलार्ज हो जाता है, and then you start living life with a wider perspective. So if you talk of consciousness, चलो कलेक्टिव छोड़ देते हैं, पहले सिर्फ कॉन्शियसनेस की बात करते हैं. तो व्हाट इज कॉन्शियसनेस? इफ आई आस्क यू, व्हाट इज कॉन्शियसनेस? You can say awareness. That could be right. It could be the level of, you can say, understanding that you have. So consciousness will definitely give you the level of understanding. बहुत low consciousness है तो आपके understanding will not be aligned with the truth. Understanding तो रहेगी, but it may not be aligned with the truth. You may have some weird understanding of life. So consciousness is very low. You can say that. And when the consciousness is very high, then your understanding or your perceptions or your beliefs are very close to the ultimate truth, the universal truth. Then your understanding is aligned with the universal truth, you can say. So that gives you wisdom. That gives you the real. It is still a perception, but it is very, very close to the truth. Unlike in the earlier case where the perception was there, but it is way away from the truth. Correct? So consciousness क्या है? Consciousness will give you your experience of life. जिस लेवल पे आप हैं वैसे ही लाइफ आप एक्सपीरियंस कर रहे हैं. यहाँ तक सही है? Everybody with me? Right? So look into your life, look into your understanding of life, and see where are you in your consciousness. और फिर इसके लेवल्स क्या क्या हैं वो हम आगे बात करेंगे, लेकिन पहले हमको ये तो मालूम होना चाहिए कॉन्शियसनेस है क्या. कॉन्शियसनेस अगर लो है तो योर अंडरस्टैंडिंग एंड परसेप्शन ऑफ लाइफ इज, आई सेड, वे far away from the truth. And if your consciousness is higher, your productivity, your effectiveness in life will be higher. You will be performing at a potential, and that is the right word actually. Your potential will be high, and you will be performing with a lot of perfection, and you can say brilliance or perfection in your life is possible if your consciousness is high. Right? तो कितने लोगों को ये समझ में आया मैंने अभी क्या बोला, या जितने लोगों को समझ में नहीं आया और कौन शेयर करना चाहेंगे? निवेदिता जी, you raise your hand. You want to share something? हाँ, go ahead.
हाँ, नहीं आपने बोला ना क्या शेयर करना चाहती हूँ, तो वही है कि अगर आपकी कॉन्शियसनेस मतलब अगर इफ इट इज हायर, देन यू आर नॉट लिमिटेड टू योरसेल्फ. आप हमेशा देना देना देना, व्हाट यू कैन गिव टू द सोसाइटी.
Okay.
That's what I understand, sir.
Very good. That's a very good understanding. Because when we talk of I, me, myself, we are always talking of taking. And when we talk of a bigger perspective, then we are thinking of giving. So obviously your focus is on others besides you, other than you. Very good. Yes, Apurva ji.
सर, एक कॉन्शियसनेस के बारे में मेरा ऐसा सोचना है कि एक छोटा सा फ्रेज है, हाउ थिंग्स वर्क. इफ यू नो हाउ थिंग्स वर्क, then you are conscious about the working of the universe. And as much as you know more about how things work, that much more you know about universe, you know about surroundings, you know about and make difference in your surrounding because you know how things work. So consciousness को मैं how things work के साथ connect करता हूँ.
Oh, perfect. That is one very good understanding actually. And when we talk of how things work, normally the mind always looks outside. So we start looking at how the universe works,
Yes.
how the earth is moving around the sun. So it is all about outside, outside, outside.
Yes.
The real consciousness shift happens when we start looking at how things work within me.
Within,
मेरे
yes.
मेरे अंदर का सिस्टम कैसे चलता है, यहाँ से अगर हम शुरू करेंगे, then it will be very easy for us to work on our consciousness level and work it so that it can raise higher, right? Because individual consciousness will lead to the, it is an inside out approach, as I said. तो जैसे जैसे individual consciousness आपकी raise होगी, and technically put, it is raising through the 7 major chakras, right? So our consciousness is in the 7 levels. तो जैसे जैसे वो उठेगा वैसे वैसे आपको पूरे ब्रह्मांड का सच समझ में आ जाएगा, and you will be actually living that life where you are connected to the whole universe. How many of us have heard the phrase yat pinde tat brahmande? As is a microcosm, so is the macrocosm. That is exactly what I'm talking about. So individual consciousness is all about I, me, myself, this body, this physical body, this human mind, and this soul, right? तो अगर मैं अपने बॉडी माइंड कॉम्प्लेक्स की बात करूं, तो आई एम एग्जिस्टिंग एज एन individual, but this individual is also connected to the whole universe and is exactly the replica of the whole universe. So yat pinde tat brahmande is the right comparison, you can say, of the physical body and the cosmic body, the human mind and the universal mind or the divine mind, correct? And of course the soul and the super soul, atma और परमात्मा. तो थोड़ी सी क्लैरिटी आ रही है कि इंडिविजुअल कॉन्शियसनेस और डिवाइन कॉन्शियसनेस का कनेक्शन क्या है. अगर ये क्लियर है, then we can move ahead. Anybody who has any doubts or anything you want to ask or you want to share? Let me welcome other people who have just joined in. So welcome Parina and Mani Wasakam. Okay, I think you have come here for the first time, so in case you want to share something, please feel free to do that. Yes, meanwhile let me take some sharing. So what is opening up? How is human
So I
body?
would just like to share.
Yeah, sure. Parmini, go ahead.
I would like when we do seva, when we go for seva, so we are getting connected to the collective consciousness. That means we are thinking of everyone as my own.
Okay.
I'm doing seva.
Okay. All right. So basically you are going beyond your I, me, myself. I would say that. तो आप अपने ईगो से हटके थोड़ा सा अलग लोगों के लिए कुछ कर रहे हैं. So you will have experienced a little bit of freedom from your ego. That is a basic reality that is happening. And then you can of course have a concept like, okay, I'm serving divine, I'm serving other people, so I'm connected to the whole universe and all these. Yes, sir, ठीक है. But when you're interested in others, when you're committed to others, when you're serving others, you are actually experiencing some freedom from your thought of I, me, myself, which is ego. That is the exact reality what is happening. अब उसको फीलिंग में आप कुछ भी एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हो, है ना, बट एक्चुअल में हो ये रहा है. क्लियर है प्रवीण जी? इज दैट ओके? या गुड. ओके, लेट्स एक्नॉलेज प्रवीण जी. So seva is one big way how you can connect with others. Right now I will only say that, but that has given me a very good discussion point on. अभी हमने कॉन्शियसनेस की बात करी, तो इंडिविजुअल कॉन्शियसनेस तो समझ में आ गई हमको, है ना. कलेक्टिव कॉन्शियसनेस और यूनिवर्सल कॉन्शियसनेस या डिवाइन कॉन्शियसनेस, इसमें क्या कनेक्शन है? कोई कनेक्शन है या सेम है? डिवाइन कॉन्शियसनेस and collective consciousness, let us say of planet Earth, फर्क है या सेम है? Actually, this was the point of discussion which I was having with my friend. So think, collective consciousness क्या है and divine consciousness क्या है? Individual consciousness clear है ना सबको? Individual consciousness is my level, individual मेरा level कहाँ पे है consciousness का? Okay. So you could be, थोड़ा सा और explain कर देता हूँ. You could be having a consciousness at the root chakra or the Mooladhara, or your consciousness could also be higher at the third eye chakra or the Agya chakra. ठीक है, दोनों के कॉन्शियसनेस लेवल में फर्क है, जमीन आसमान का फर्क, इनफैक्ट हेवन एंड हेल का फर्क है. ओके, so that is about individual consciousness. Now I am asking you, what is the difference between, or rather there are two terms, divine consciousness and collective consciousness. Are they same or are they different? How many of you say they are same? Raise your hand. How many of you say it is they are different? Okay, Tarun Wadhwa has raised his hand first. Okay, so Tarunji, you want to share something or you are just raising your hand?
But I'm very very novice in this journey, but whatever I have able to understand that when we are talking about collective, like individual is belongs to one person. Collective is like we are doing this satsang right now, and divine is the ultimate superpower with which when we connect we feel the power beyond the imagination of human. I mean, limitless power we feel on that. So this is I with a thin or borderline differentiation I can make out with my
Very
right.
good, Tarun. Very good. That's a good understanding, and it is very, very close to the actual truth. Okay, let's acknowledge Tarunji. How many of you have got confused, by the way? कितने लोग confused हो गए, ये कहाँ से आ गया, ये गुगली कहाँ से आ गई? हाँ? Okay, so let me compare this with a class. All of us have been in school, right? तो पहले क्लास का कंपैरिजन लेते हैं. क्लास में मान लीजिए 100 लोग हैं. There are 100 students in the class. Okay, and there is an examination, and all the students score some marks. वो उनके इंडिविजुअल मार्क्स हैं. यस, इंडिविजुअल मार्क्स, राइट. उस एग्जाम में मैक्सिमम मार्क्स कितने हो सकते थे? अगर वो 100 का है तो 100 आउट ऑफ 100. मिनिमम वुड बी 0 आउट ऑफ 100. क्लियर? So the ultimate consciousness which somebody can achieve, or theoretically speaking any human being can achieve, is the divine consciousness, which is 100. Okay, so 100 marks is what the student can achieve individually. That is the highest. उससे ऊपर नहीं आ सकता, right? And जो 90s में भी हैं वो highly conscious you can say, or highly genius or intelligent. और जो 0 से 10 ला रहे हैं वो क्या है? लोअर लेवल के स्टूडेंट्स हैं, उनकी इंटेलिजेंस और उनकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग काफी लो है. एवरेज मार्क्स क्या हुए उस 100 स्टूडेंट्स के? एवरेज मार्क्स क्या हुए? मे बी 50 और 60% होगा 100 में से, करेक्ट? दिस गिव्स यू सम अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ व्हाट इज डिवाइन कॉन्शियसनेस एंड व्हाट इज कलेक्टिव कॉन्शियसनेस. ठीक है, तो इंडिविजुअल कॉन्शियसनेस कैन रेज फ्रॉम 0 टू, और अगर 0 छोड़ देते हैं, थोड़ा सा लीनियंट हो जाते हैं, 1 से 99 ले लेते हैं, तो ये स्टूडेंट्स कैन स्कोर 1 or he can score 99. Okay, let's technically assume that he cannot be 100. Technically you cannot be 100 consciousness level. Marks level पे तो आजकल सारे ही 100 ला रहे हैं, है ना? तो student can score 1 marks or he can score 99. Highest is 100, which is the divine consciousness, and collective consciousness will be somewhere around 50 or 60. Everybody clear on this? ये comparison clear हो रहा है? And that is exactly what happens in the human life also. Only thing is we don't get marks. So there is no report card showing us what is my consciousness level. So you have to see the life situations. You have to see your health, your wealth, your relationships, the quality of life that you're living. Look into the outside world, look into your inside world, do a lot of introspection, and you will understand what is the level of your consciousness. If your level of consciousness is at root chakra, you are possibly at 1%. You can say 1% of divinity. यानी कि डिवाइन कॉन्शियसनेस अगर 100 पे है तो आप 1% पे ऑपरेट कर रहे हो, और अगर आप थर्ड आई चक्रा के कॉन्शियसनेस पे हो, यू कैन से यू आर इन द 90s. So that is the individual consciousness, right? Divine consciousness clear is 100%, which in this body normally we say that you cannot achieve. So 99 is good enough, or 90s is good enough. यहाँ तक क्लियर हो रहा है? कोई डाउट है? Good. Now the question is, कलेक्टिव कॉन्शियसनेस को हम कैसे इम्पैक्ट कर सकते हैं और उससे हम कैसे इम्पैक्ट होते हैं, राइट? इंडिविजुअल कॉन्शियसनेस मेरे हाथ में है, मेरी सेवा, मेरी साधना, मेरा सत्संग, जो भी मैं कर रहा हूँ उससे मैं अपनी कॉन्शियसनेस अवेयरनेस को बढ़ाते हुए आई कैन मूव थ्रू द different levels of consciousness and raise my consciousness. That is clear. That is the importance of sadhana, seva and satsang that we do. Whatever is your practice, all the 4 paths of yoga. So it could be karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raj yoga, jnana yoga, whatever you do. Yoga, meditation, pranayam, all this is raising your consciousness, which we also saw in the last 2 programs, Jnana Yoga and Chitta Shuddhi. That is what we are doing. That is the purpose of our life. Cleansing our chit and raising our consciousness through the 7 levels so that individual consciousness is higher. Now, how do you contribute to collective consciousness? So first let us understand what is collective consciousness now. एक फैमिली में 5 लोग रहते हैं. कलेक्टिव कॉन्शियसनेस क्या होगा? उन 5 का जो कॉन्शियसनेस है, that gives you the consciousness of that family in that house. Yes or no? So that collective consciousness will decide what is happening in that family and what is happening to the family and what is happening to the outside world because of this family. Right? So collective consciousness is applicable wherever you are existing, wherever you are living. So family से शुरू हुआ, correct? Then it can be expanded into that society where you are living. So if there are 100 flats there and there are 500 people there, collective consciousness of that society is the 500 people. उनकी collective consciousness जो है, उनके collective कर्मा जो हैं, वो impact करेंगे individual को, और individual will impact them also. Right? Now you can expand that. Now it is like an energy ball which is expanding, and you are expanding into the whole city, then the state, then the country, then the continent, then whole of planet Earth. So planet Earth का जो collective consciousness होगा, that will be the consciousness of 800 crore people on this planet Earth. I am considering only the human consciousness because the other consciousness of other living beings do not change. They are hardwired into their existence. Only human beings have this capacity to lower or go higher in their consciousness level. That is our benefit that we have got. That is a blessing that we have, the divine blessings, right? तो ये हमारी एफर्ट है कि हम अपने कॉन्शियसनेस को कैसे आगे बढ़ा सकते हैं. That is why we talk of human consciousness. Collective consciousness is about all the human beings together in that particular country or the planet. Clear है ये? This is collective consciousness. Now the best way to impact the collective consciousness and how that collective consciousness is impacting us, if you can understand this, it will give you a very, very good clarity about your karmas. Now let us talk a little bit about karmas. यहाँ तक clear है सबको? Any question? Anything you want to share? Okay, good. Now let us understand law of karma in line with the collective consciousness. Law of karma को अगर एक लाइन में बताना होगा तो क्या बताओगे? What is law of karma? The basic question.
What goes around comes around.
Okay, what goes around comes around. And we often talk of individual karma. है ना? We talk of individual karma. तो एक सोल की कई लाइफ टाइम की जर्नी चल रही है. तो ऐसे शशि धर in this birth, I was in the previous birth someone else, and I've done a lot of karmas. So my whole journey from life, जन्म पे जन्म जो मैं लेते जा रहा हूँ और जो मेरे कर्मास आ रहे हैं, तो उन सब के जो रिजल्टेंट है, दैट इज द भाग्य, डेस्टिनी. So destiny or fate you can say is the result of my karma. तो भाग्य क्या है? कर्म फल है. यहाँ तक क्लियर है सबको? But it is not, what is misunderstood here is that it is not a single input, single output kind of a relation. It is multiple input and multiple output. So let us understand it this way. Whatever I do is impacting the whole society. अब मैं अपने सोसाइटी में अगर हूँ और वहाँ 500 लोग हैं, मैं कुछ कर रहा हूँ, जो उसका इम्पैक्ट 500 लोगों पे आ रहा है, फैमिली में सबको आ रहा है और सब लोग सोसाइटी पे भी आ रहा है. तो माई कर्मा इज not only impacting me or my family, it is impacting everybody wherever I am existing. अगर मैं किसी को जाके किसी का सर फोड़ देता हूँ in the society, the whole society is impacted by it. If fight between two families in a society impacts the whole society, yes or no? सबसे ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट उन दोनों को होगा, लेकिन इट हैज अ रिपल इफेक्ट ऑन अदर्स. तो लॉ ऑफ कर्मा इज नेवर ए सिंगुलर इवेंट और ए organic kind of a result. It is always a ripple effect, and the ripple goes into the whole universe, right? और बाकी सबके जो कर्म हैं, बाकी सबके जो एक्शंस हैं, वो मेरे को भी अफेक्ट करेंगे. तो my karmas are affecting the whole society, and anybody or everybody in that society is contributing to my life also. So I am impacting everybody and everybody is impacting me, and that is another way to understand how I am connected to the whole universe. If you expand it, it goes from society to the city, and to the state, and to the country, and to the whole earth. So whatever action I am doing is actually impacting the whole earth, all the human beings on the earth, all the living beings on the earth actually. Correct? And my consciousness, if I am raising it, it is also impacting the consciousness of the whole planet Earth. Taking the example of what happened a few days before, war-like situation between two countries. Now the collective consciousness of both the countries manifested that event, right? So whatever I thought, whatever I said, whatever I did is impacting the collective consciousness of this, my country. And then the action which was taken by the country with another country is also impacting me. Yes. So it is not single input, single output kind of a relation. It is multiple input, multiple output. And the collective consciousness of one country decides the action of a war-like situation with another country. And it is happening all over the world now. अलग-अलग situations पे हो रहा है ये. So what can I do to raise the collective consciousness of the planet? बाहर की दुनिया में तमस है. बाहर की दुनिया में क्या चल रहा है आजकल? वॉर, टेररिज्म, वायलेंस, अपहीवल, टोर्नेडो, सुनामी, सब बहुत कुछ हो रहा है. टोटल टर्मोइल है. वी कैन से इट इज ऑल वेरी लो लेवल ऑफ कॉन्शियसनेस. वैसे ही कलयुग चल रहा है. तो कॉन्शियसनेस बहुत लो लेवल पे है. व्हाट इज द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट आई शुड डू? The best way to raise human consciousness is what? To raise my own consciousness. Yes or no? 800 करोड़ लोगों के कॉन्शियसनेस बढ़ाना आसान है, मेरा अपना कॉन्शियसनेस लेवल बढ़ाना आसान है. तो इट हैज टू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम इनसाइड आउट. एवरीबडी क्लियर ऑन दिस? बाहर जो मर्जी हो रहा हो, अपनी सेवा, अपनी साधना, अपने सत्संग को नहीं छोड़ना है. That is the only way you can raise your consciousness, and in turn you will impact the consciousness of the whole planet. Now it is not a very far away theory or ऐसा कोई thought है जो समझ में नहीं आ रहा. It is very easy to understand. Yes. Well, I will give you an illustration which will make it clearer. Okay. Imagine a situation, again, not the classroom situation. वो collective consciousness को समझाने के लिए था. कैसे individual consciousness can affect the collective consciousness. Now let us look at how collective consciousness can impact your life. Imagine कीजिए एक pond है. एक लेक है, ओके, and you can visualize a swimming pool. आजकल सोसाइटीज में स्विमिंग पूल हैं, so you can visualize that. There are 100 people. Okay. So 100 people are every day coming there and pouring water. एक कप लेके आ रहे हैं, पानी डाल रहे हैं उसमें, और उसी में से एक कप पानी पी ले रहे हैं और पी रहे हैं और फिर जा रहे हैं। अगले दिन फिर आते हैं, एक कप लेके आते हैं, जो भी उनके अंदर है वो कप वो लेके आ रहे हैं, उसके लेक में डाला और वहीं से एक कप लिया और चले गए। एक कप में वो अपना, मतलब दे आर कंट्रीब्यूटिंग 1 cup of water and they are taking away 1 cup of water. So equation is balanced. अब जो वो दे रहे हैं दैट इज इंडिविजुअल कॉन्शियसनेस, जो लेके आ रहे हैं वो, और जो लेके जा रहे हैं वो कलेक्टिव कॉन्शियसनेस है। ये मैसेज क्लियर है? सर, व्हेनेवर यू आर इंटरेक्टिंग विद समबडी, क्या हो रहा है? यू आर ब्रिंगिंग योर कप ऑफ whatever you have, they are bringing their cup of whatever they have. So you could be bringing cup of love, they could be bringing cup of anger, और सब कुछ उस लेक में जा रहा है। कोई ह्यूमर लेके आ रहा है, कोई लाफ्टर लेके आ रहा है, कोई एंगर लेके आ रहा है, कोई हेटरेट लेके आ रहा है, पर आप लव लेके जा रहे हैं। Every day you bring 1 cup of love and pour it into that water and you take away that water, and then बाकी लोग जो मर्जी डाल रहे हों, if every day you contribute 1 cup of love, will the percentage of love in that water increase or not? आप कह रहे बाकी 99 तो नहीं दे रहे हैं, बाकी 99 नहीं दे रहे हैं, मैं क्यों दूं? रॉन्ग परसेप्शन। बाकी लोग जो मर्जी दे, मुझे सिर्फ लव ही देना है, क्योंकि मेरे पास सिर्फ लव ही है। You can say love, peace, joy, whatever, right? So if you are contributing 1 cup of love, peace and joy into that swimming pool, every day that percentage of love, peace and joy will increase or not? बाकी जो मर्जी डालें, अगर वो भी डालने लगे तब तो बहुत बढ़िया बात है। आपको देख के शायद 5 लोग शुरू हो जाएंगे, फिर वो शायद 10 हो जाएं, फिर वो शायद 15 हो जाएं। So you will be setting an example for others to raise your consciousness, and you are always going there with a smile. बाकी सारे लड़ रहे हैं, मर रहे हैं, चीख रहे हैं, चिल्ला रहे हैं, आप प्यार से जा रहे हो, हंसते हुए जा रहे हो, लव पीस एंजॉय, एक कप डाला और वहां से एक कप लेके चले गए। कर सकते हो? Are you impacting the collective consciousness? Yes. Is the collective consciousness impacting you? Yes. Whatever is in that cup, you can digest it, because your whole system is full of love, peace and joy. You can only give in the cup what you are, what you have. अगर आपके अंदर एंगर है तो क्या आप लव दे सकते हो? नहीं, आप एंगर ही दोगे। So how you can impact the collective consciousness is by radiating love, peace and joy to everybody without any partiality, without any attachment, without any judgment. So fill yourself up with love, peace and joy, and radiate that love, peace and joy to the whole universe. Let it go, let it flow. That is the exact meaning of Yat Pinde Tat Brahmande. You can impact the whole universe, and the whole universe will come back and give it to you. That is law of karma. अगर आप हर वक्त लव पीस एंड जॉय की रेडिएशन ही भेजोगे, एनर्जी भेजोगे, वापस क्या आएगा? तरुण जी सेड, what goes round comes round. Love, peace and joy will come back to you, and it will not come from the person to whom you have given it. It will come back from the universe in different ways, because it is multiple output and multiple input. जितने लोग लव पीस एंड जॉय की एनर्जी भेज रहे हैं, उनके साथ मिलते हुए इट विल बिकम ए सुनामी ऑफ लव पीस एंड जॉय, एंड इट विल गो टू द होल यूनिवर्स. इट विल कम बैक एंड come back to you in your life as that. How many of you are practicing life and breath? How many of you remember the last, my own spiritual breath? Isn't that what we are doing there? We radiate love, peace and joy to the whole universe, and it is coming back to us not from the point from where I gave it, but from all the points in the universe. They are coming back to you. Are you ready to accept that? Are you ready to do this karma? Then you will receive a destiny and fate of love, peace, and joy from everywhere. And by the way, those who have not done life and breath, it is a motivation for you to do that program. No? But anyway, that is not the point. Point is, can you radiate love, peace, and joy to the people? Because the energy that you create and radiate is your karma. And the energy that is coming back to you from the universe is your destiny. It's so simple. So I will stop now and take some sharings. What is opening up? And now, Amit ji, you can share.
Yeah, maybe I think if there's nobody else sharing right now, I think I can share a few things that So you know that this entire understanding of collective consciousness, how integrated it has become in my life personally. It's a very big understanding and topic, and after having understood what is consciousness, and after having integrated the conscious approaches in life, then the next level of understanding that there is collective and I'm contributor and responsible for collective as well. I think I want to thank you today for the very simple way to explain collective consciousness. It is simply adding the numbers in the subjects or adding the numbers of all the students in a class. So if there are 100 kids, one marks I to 100 marks is the max. Otherwise, cumulative can be 1,000 or 10,000, depending on whatever example that we take. I think it's a very simple way to describe what is collective human consciousness. Two more points which I have just actually written also that I wanted to briefly talk about. So it is important to know and why it is important after having understood what is consciousness and why it is important for all of us to contribute to the upliftment of collective consciousness. And I think I shared with you, I call it UCHC, which is upliftment of collective human consciousness. Simple example is that, let's say, imagine that we go to a market or we have a residential area where we stay in. And if we have understood consciousness or we have woken up to some extent, and people around us are blind. So what will happen in a market? Everybody else is blind and you're walking. Obviously, we will collide. Whose problem will it be? Our own problem as well. Simply so because if there are people who are blind, and when you know that you were also blind, but you've woken up a bit, it is in our personal spiritual interest to unblind as many people as possible. So that is, I think, I got this clarity maybe about last year. So it was a very profound example where whenever it got small thing, but it got downloaded once.
Absolutely.
The next and the last point, which I want to quickly touch upon, is setting up an NGO, for example, in social work. And so we see a lot of orphanages, people working towards less upliftment of poor or needies or handicapped, etc. So all that is very good, no doubt. But I think they are not the best example of UCSC or upliftment of collective human consciousness. Indirectly, it does because it sets an example for others that we need to do for others. But directly, these are not the best examples of UCHC. The best example would be spiritual organizations who are very focusedly working on spreading of the spiritual sciences, technologies in various ways, online, offline, blah, blah, through education. So I think that is the most effective way one can contribute to the upliftment of collective human consciousness. So I think these 3 quick points I wanted to humbly submit.
Very good. Very good. Let's acknowledge Amiji. Amiji is wonderful. Great understanding and great sharing what you have been doing in your life. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else who wants to share? What is opening up? Because Gyan part was only this much. Huh? So now you have to share what you're taking away from the session. Or if you have any doubts, so we can discuss that. Who would like to share? What is opening up? What do you want to share? Yes, yes. Nivedita, go ahead.
One thing very nice, जैसे आपने सर समझाया that collective consciousness का there is a pond and everyone is like putting in your own part. So that's something very nice. Some very the concept itself, it's what we can do is like what we have, what we are. अपना काम अपना कर्म करते चलो.
Yes.
है ना, तो
Absolutely perfect.
yeah.
So and even a small amount of work that you can do on yourself will make a huge impact. because it is always a ripple effect. आप अपने अंदर थोड़ा सा भी अगर anger and frustration and failure and rejection ये हटा के love, peace and joy भेजना शुरू कर दें, you have no idea how much lives you will impact. You have so much power in your energy of love, peace and joy that you can impact anyone and everyone in your life. And that energy simply expands into the whole universe and it comes back to you. So you can be that, have the power to transform lives like huge. That possibility is huge and the results are magical. Wonderful,
I
wonderful.
know.
Nivedita ji, great understanding.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, yes, Tarun, go ahead.
Sir, so today's takeaway, of course, what Apurva ma'am said and Amiji said, they are the very good ones. And for my own, I believe, fill yourself first with the love which you have just said, so that the kind of happiness, like Amiji said, blind. First, you need to understand yourself that I am capable of making someone enlightened enough that when I stand over that vibration, that energy, even if I don't speak, my aura can build that. So, first, you have to work on yourself a lot, that you have to throw out your anger, you have to throw out your uh, aggressions or the feelings which are putting you down.
Wonderful.
Then the level of connecting with the super energy is beyond imagination. You can't even dream of where you will fly.
Absolutely correct. Wonderful. Only thing is, instead of you, you should say I. I have to leave out all the
Yes,
anger and
sorry.
frustration and
This is
fill
the
myself with
learning I'm
love.
doing from quite a long time.
Yeah. So practice saying
And
I. It will be more real for you. You में तो आप advice दे रहे हो औरों को. I में it becomes real. Very good, Tarun. Great,
Sorry, sir.
good
Yes,
understanding.
and
Yes.
I know it's very difficult, Tarun ji. हाँ, ले हम लोग जब बोलते हैं कि how we have to develop, like we also at times get.
Yeah. We is still better, but when you say you are excluding yourself.
नहीं, we all. मतलब myself, I'm saying that it is difficult. Yes, despite knowing everything, what we should be doing and what we actually do. So then,
Right,
of course,
right.
I know.
So there is
जैसे
a difference.
जैसे हम लोग-
Absolutely. It comes with the practice. And
Yeah.
That is why
I
I
started
said
practicing and
today.
I continue that.
That is why I said today, let us not just leave it as a concept, but make it a reality in our life. That will happen when you say that with I or we. I ज़्यादा अच्छा है वैसे, because it starts with individual, right? Great.
Right.
Yes, Vijay ji, go ahead.
Oh, I really was missing these sessions and I enjoyed so much. I've been watching the videos, of course, but nothing like being in a live session. And I must say, Shashi Dhar, that I always thought collective consciousness as divine consciousness, but today you made the concept very clear in my mind. Thank you so much for that. And I must say, as people here are saying that it's hard and one has to work on oneself, I think it's all a matter of sadhanas. It's all a matter of being regular in what you're doing, being present in such lovely satsangs, and doing whatever you suggest, like meditation or regular uplifting of yourself. I know Amit ji goes regularly to gym. That's also very inspiring. So I mean, it's all of us together that inspire each other, and that will bring all of us up. That's what I wanted to say.
Absolutely.
Thank
So
you.
let us start with building up the collective consciousness of Divine Healing Valley first. So all the members who are here have that access, have that power and the ability to transform their life and transform people in their life. So let us start from here and then let's create a tsunami of love, peace and joy and send it to the whole universe. And let's see the magic happening in the whole universe. Yeah. Great, Vijay ji. Wonderful. And just to tell you that we are, Amiji said, that gave the example of blind people. Let us say they are sleepwalking. क्योंकि blind होंगे तो उनको आंखें देना बड़ा मुश्किल है. Sleepwalking है तो जगा सकते हैं. उनको पकड़ के जरा झंझोड़ दो तो जाग जाएंगे. So let us wake up people in our life and let them open their eyes, and then we will not collide with each other, and we will create love, peace, and joy, a lot of harmony and balance in our life and life overall on the planet Earth. Yes, great. Leslie. You joined in a bit late. Anything you want to share? Final take? No. Fine. He is happy there. All right. SCJ कौन है? अभी आए हैं. कुछ बताना चाहेंगे सर? Would like to share something about yourself? What brings you here? What are you taking away, by the way? Okay, I'll leave it to you in case you're fine. Okay. Right. Anybody else? Take away. परवीन जी क्या लेके जा रहे हैं?
Yeah, I like that what you said. Love, peace, and joy is my karma. If I do that, बाकी जो आएगा वो मेरी destiny है. So it will come back maybe.
It has to. It has to.
Yeah.
Right.
So
So
I
let us
like
focus
that.
on our karma.
So we have to just keep giving, and whatever will come back will come back.
Absolutely. Okay, it is not, spiritual law is not a law of receiving and giving. It is the law of giving and receiving. Once you start the process of giving, the receiving has to come. Right? Okay, wonderful. So with this, we still have some time. Okay, I thought we had crossed the time. Every time hand. Anybody who wants to share something more? You want to summarize something that you have picked up from the session? Yes, Apurva ji, go ahead.
सर एक चीज मुझे बहुत अच्छी लगी जो मैं बताना चाहता हूँ जो आपने बताई ये सेशन में कि destiny is the result of all the karmas that you've done. It is not a singular thing. It is a collective output of all the past karmas. And my strong belief and my deep-rooted understanding about destiny is that destiny is not something that one should look for in the future, but destiny is what has brought you to the current stage or where you are currently. And in future, or future is not something which is already destined, but future has a component of all your karmas from past and what you will do in present.
Absolutely.
So future is not something which is already written. Future you have to write, and that you have to write through your efforts, your purusharth. So when you talk of destiny, you should not talk of purusharth, because in past you cannot do any purusharth. And when you talk of purusharth, you should not worry about your destiny, because that is your starting point. Your destiny is actually the stage at which you are standing currently, and from here only you can, by purusharth, you can move forward. So one thing which came out very nicely is that destiny is the result of all your past karmas and collective karmas of your surrounding also.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Perfect. Wonderful, Apurva. Great.
Thank you.
And if you want to remember that as a formula, you can remember that as destiny is equal to past karma plus present karma. It is not only past karma, it is not only present karma, it is a combination of both. So past karma plus present karma will give you the destiny. Yes. So destiny, of course, it is written by your own karmas. That's all. And it is not a single input, single output. It is multiple input, multiple output. कई जन्मों के कर्म हैं जो आपने किए हैं और कई जन्मों के लोगों को आपने परेशान किया, मतलब इम्पैक्ट किया है, तो वो जब वापस देंगे तो आएगा वापस. Be ready for it. That's all. Right. And
Yes.
I am actually, tempted to talk about destiny at 3 levels. So how many of you are interested in knowing that? No? कई बार हमने सुना ना जब हम शांति पाठ करते हैं, ओम शांति शांति शांति, we do that 3 times. So we are
Yes.
talking of destiny at 3 levels, right? Anybody who knows what are the 3 levels? Okay. First I will come to Leslie. Leslie, go ahead.
No, I would like to hear what
अच्छा,
you
you would
want
like to hear. Okay. Nivedita ji, go ahead.
जहाँ तक मेरा ख्याल है सर, आदि दैविक, आदि भौतिक और आध्यात्मिक.
Fantastic. Absolutely fine. So it is there in our prayer. We do that every day, right? So when we talk of 3 levels of Shanti, we are talking of 3 levels of peace. And we are talking at 3 levels of our existence because our destiny is coming from 3 levels. तो 3 level क्या-क्या हैं अगर आप जानना चाहो? The first is called Adi Devika. Adi Devika is something which is not in our control at all. It is like, it is something to do with the divine aspects of the karma. So a lightning, a tsunami, an earthquake, all these natural calamities, you can say, they form part of Adi Devika, right? So they impact you. Yes, they impact you. It is part of your destiny, right? They impact your destiny. अगर earthquake आ गया और आप उसी सिटी में हैं, भुज में हैं, या कहीं और हैं, या सुनामी आया और आप अगर किसी कोस्टल एरिया में हैं, साइक्लोन आया, तो your destiny is impacted by these natural calamities. So Adi Devika is one which is impacting you. So you are saying Om Shanti, so you are silencing these elements which are causing disturbance in that aspect. Second is Adi Bhautika. That means from the living beings. It could be human beings, it could be animals, it could be insects, it could be mosquito, it could be snake, it could be elephant, it could be Godzilla, it could be your neighbor, it could be your mother-in-law. So it could be anybody and everybody, your bosses, your mother-in-law, your wives, your partners, and of course snake and rat and cockroach, everybody. All are included. तो जितने भी जीव हैं जो आपको इम्पैक्ट कर सकते हैं वो सब इम्पैक्ट करेंगे. ये है आदि भौतिका. So you are silencing them. Om Shanti. Third is Adhyatmika, which is your inside world, which we discussed in the last session. चित्त शुद्धि. तो आपके चित्त में जो कुछ है, कार्मिक इम्प्रिंट्स, तामसिक, राजसिक, सात्विक, जो जो इम्प्रिंट्स हैं आपके अंदर, उनकी वजह से जो कर्म आपके डेस्टिनी बन के आ रहे हैं. So these are the 3 levels of destiny that impacts you, and you should be ready for all these 3. And the only way to change that is your present karma. Past karma will create these situations. Past karma will ensure that a snake enters your home. Your present karma will determine whether you can escape that or not. So snake आना है, हाथी ने आना है, that is scheduled. A truck is going to hit you, that is scheduled. Now what will happen right now is depending on your present karma. So that will decide whether you will end up in hospital or you simply walk up, brush your clothes and walk away home, thanking the divine. So anything and everything is possible. Outcome बहुत कुछ है. You have to understand that. एक इनपुट आ रहा है, उसके आउटकम बहुत कुछ हो सकते हैं, and your karma will decide which output is going to lead to your destiny. And that is where we have some freedom. Some freedom I say, I don't say unlimited freedom, because ultimately it is all governed by Maya, right? In this matrix, there are only 3 levels of actions. आप जो भी action सोच लें, you think you have a lot of freedom to do actions? You have only actions classified into 3 categories. It can be either tamasic or rajasic or sattvic. So you are still in Maya, right? So you can't break away from the Maya. If you're doing an action, it has to be one of these 3. But having said that, there are millions of options and millions of outcomes. So whatever action you do, one outcome will decide your destiny. So that is how you need to understand destiny. So it is karma, it is karamphal, but that it is so complex that human mind cannot easily understand that. Yes. Right. Now we have reached the end of the session. So last and final call. Anybody who wants to share? Otherwise, we close the session. So thank you very much for your participation. Enjoy a great week. And we come back again next week with a lot more topics. Till then, Aham Brahmasmi. Enjoy. Take care. Bye-bye.
Aham
Thank you.
Brahmasmi. Thank you, sir.
you.
Thank you, sir.